Hey, we are continuing to talk about sleep for performance. We're on lesson 3 today, and we're going to be talking about sleep hygiene. Before we start, I want to take a second and review something, a trend, a topic that we've talked about extensively over the course of the fall, and that is routine, a performance routine. And we're going to review this over time because many of the things that we're going to talk about in our lessons, whether it's designing a routine, whether it's sleep, whether it's fueling, whether it's any habit outside of training, a routine, and if we can think about the consistency of a routine, it's going to have positive impacts on that. So when we think about a routine, we talked about 3 different aspects. First, pre-activation. What are my habits before training, before practice, before competition? That's ramping me up, all systems go. We talked about post-recovery. What are my habits and consistent actions after practice and training to put my vehicle back in the garage and calm down to prepare me for the next day? And then finally, what are my sustainability plans that I have in place to make sure that it's repeatable over time? Okay. When we think about a routine, it's going to really help us lay the foundation for a lot of our habits outside of training, everything in life. Okay. So when we think about sleep hygiene, it's important for us to think about our hygiene, especially as it pertains to rest and recovery and sleeping, as essentially habits. Okay, so our habits around sleeping are the things that we engage with that keeps me consistent. Hey, there's the routine that we just talked about with sleep time and wake time. Okay, so how consistent is the time that I go to bed at night? And it doesn't have to be perfect. It should not be rigid. Okay, part of a sustainability plan is that it is flexible, but it needs to be somewhat consistent from night to night to night. And that allows my body to stay in a consistent process. Okay. Same thing holds true with wake time. If I can be really consistent going to bed and waking up over the course of a week, my body's going to be in rhythm. Okay. What does my bedroom look like? Ideally, we want our bedroom to be cool, dark, quiet, and clean. And we want to take all of our electronics, whether it's a phone, whether it's an iPad, my television, and we want to start powering those down. Our bedroom setup essentially should promote recovery. So cool, dark, and quiet. Temperature less than 68 degrees. The cooler, the better. Dark, any light whatsoever is going to be a stimulant, and it's going to help. It's going to prevent me from going to sleep because it's waking me up. It's arousing. Okay. Any noise whatsoever is going to be stimulating as well. And then we talk about clean because health and wellness is oftentimes the foundation block of recovery of performance. And then with electronics, any type of electronic light is going to prevent me from secreting melatonin, a hormone that makes me sleepy. Okay, so my bedroom setup, my environment are going to be huge for me. Okay, what are my habits? Okay, when I talk about habits, what are my habits through the day? What have I done with my naps? If I nap too long in the middle of the day, that's going to prevent me from being drowsy at night. Ideally, we want our naps to be about 30 minutes, so short. Okay. What is my caffeine intake? I should not be drinking coffee or caffeine late in the day because that's going to have some negative impacts on my ability to go to sleep. What is my drug, alcohol use, any type of drug, whether it's legal or illegal or alcohol, regardless of what it is, it's going to impact my ability to go to sleep. And sometimes the misconception is that alcohol helps me go to sleep. And it very well may make you a little bit tired at the beginning, but it may prevent you from staying asleep. And it may augment or change the ability to find deep sleep. We talked about the sleep cycle pattern in a previous lesson. Alcohol use or drug use may actually prevent me from getting into deep restorative sleep. And I'm not realizing the testosterone release, the deep brain and overall recovery of my central nervous system that I could if I was sober. Okay. And then next, what does my daily activity look like? What is my fueling habits? When have I eaten? How much have I eaten? Am I hydrated through the day? Have I drank water too close to bed? And then obviously, am I training? Am I traveling? All these things impact my habits around sleep. As we think about our habits and our daily activity with fueling, one thing from a nutritional standpoint we need to think about is we want to avoid large or spicy meals immediately prior to bedtime. What that's going to do is when I'm trying to go to sleep, I'm trying to take all systems and start to slow down. When I introduce food or fuel into my body, it's actually keeping things moving. So it's speeding things up. And the spicy food is a stimulant in itself. And then at nighttime, if I can ingest some sort of protein rich snack before bed to promote tissue recovery, that can be really huge. It's also neat if you can find some sort of slow releasing protein, such as a casein protein that is more slowly released throughout my body, and it's slow to digest. And that can make sure that I have a protein environment inside my body for a little bit longer. Now, with anything that we put in our body that's a supplement, it's really important for us to check with our registered dietitians that work with our sport. Okay, so to sum it up, our challenge for the week, we're thinking about habits. We're thinking about what we want to do and how we want to sleep. For the next week, we want to think about what 4 elements of our sleep habits or sleep hygiene are. First, what does my routine look like? We've all filled out our weekly sleep log, or we should have been thinking about what our weekly log looks like. Okay, how consistent are we? Remember, the more consistent, the better. We do not live in a perfect world, but if I can be more consistent, it's going to help me. The next one, temperature. Okay, colder the better. Think about in your room, what is the thermostat set at? How cold is it? Can you bump it down a little bit? Next one, light. How bright is your room? Okay, get all the light out of there if possible. Okay, turn your TV off, turn your bathroom light off, take the night light and put it in the hallway. Get all the light, take it out. And then finally, 30 minutes before bed at minimum, set your alarm for training tomorrow or class tomorrow. Plug your phone in and put it down. Get away from electronics like TV and iPad. Just relax. Okay, so for the next week, we're thinking about these 4 elements: consistency, temperature, light, and let's get away from electronics.